Go over where things stand at right guard.
Right guard, I mean, we still won't know for sure until game day because, Magnuson's out. And guys, I can tell you out. Magnuson and Garnett are both out. Goodwin's going to be out, but Person's questionable. So we'll work him out before the game and see where he's at.
With Marquise being out, does that mean Dante starts in his place?
Yes.
And Richie James,
Yeah.
he's up then too?
Yep. Richie will be up.
What about Colbert
Colbert will be questionable. He was limited today.
and Smith?
Smith questionable. Same thing.
Person can't go, it would be Najee Turan at right guard?
Yep.
Okay.
Why not call Jonathan Cooper? Was he just not ever healthy enough to rely
Yeah,
on?
that's how we felt. That's why we did what we did. John was great. We would have loved him, but the other guys, they beat him out. So that's the direction we went.
With Toran, is it an experience thing, just the fact that he spent most of the offseason program here and Tobin did not?
It's both. Those guys both got the reps all week, and and Tran won those reps. Yeah, he did a better job, and I think it's a huge advantage for him that he has a lot more experience, knows what's going on, and anytime you have more experience in a system and have got more reps, there's a huge advantage for you, and I think that's what helped him win that spot this week.
Did you give Tobin some center snaps this week in case he has to come in at that spot?
We've given Tobin it. We've given Tran it also. Obviously Person can do it if he's able to go on game day, so you only have so many options, but someone's going to have to do it, so you got to be ready for everything.
What drew you to Turan in the first place? What do you like about him?
We got him from UCLA. Our scouts liked him a lot, brought him to our attention. Our line coaches liked him a lot. When we looked at him through the draft, I liked him a lot. He was available there as an undrafted free agent. We were able to recruit him and get him here. I just liked him because nothing was too big for him. A lot of times you get undrafted guys in, they don't just jump off the screen right away to you. But kind of the strongest and the most mentally tough are the ones who survive throughout the end. And he's been thrown in a lot of situations through preseason. Got to play a lot in the preseason. The game doesn't seem too big for him. He's the same in those preseason games as he was in practice, and that's why I believe he's a guy who can handle starting if need be.
Well, you guys won 3 of your last 4 at home last season. Did you get a sense of any kind of home field advantage, and that's what you want to roll into this season?
Yeah, I definitely did last year. It wasn't much at the beginning of the year, and I didn't think it deserved to be. We didn't give the fans much to cheer about. But as we got started winning, and I'm getting more to cheer about at the end, I think I talked about it yesterday. I forget where. I think maybe the radio show. But that Christmas Eve game was as loud as any games I've been in. And always when you play on Christmas Eve, you're kind of wondering how many people are going to come anyways because of the day. And, we were out of the playoffs also. And to walk into that stadium at the beginning of the game and to be how loud it was to start and how it ended, that's what I remember growing up, and it was a hell of a deal.
Is George Kittle, there was a play, I think he was overthrown because Jimmy was dealing with some pressure, but up the left seam, it looked like he beat Harrison Smith and could have been a touchdown. But that seemed like an example of him moving better than any point last year because he was dealing with injuries. Do you see that? And is that obviously what led to his day on Sunday?
Yeah, he came in playing very well for us last year, starting in OTAs and at the beginning of training camp. And he got hurt in training camp, came back. We had to put a lot of pressure on him early in the season because he was one of our better players right away. And he got banged up right away. And credit to him that I think a lot of guys wouldn't have made it through the year and played in all those games. And he played through a lot of injuries last year in the run game and the pass game. I think he got healthier as the end of the year came. I think that's why you guys saw a little more success in the pass game with him. And he came back 100%. I know he battled an injury in preseason, but he's recovered from it. And he's a good player, and he'll get only better if he can stay healthy.
Carl, you mentioned not having McKinnon obviously change things about your initial game plan. Goodwin obviously seems to be a guy maybe even more dynamic. Obviously Pettis looks like he can play a little better. How much does that change? Just not having his presence, his speed.
It always changes. That always changes. It happens to everyone every week, to all 32 teams. So it's something that you don't get too down on, even though you could if you sat and thought about it for a while, because, yes, it is a big deal. But that's part of the NFL. That's part of the season. That's part of who has the best luck throughout who's the most talented team, who has the best luck throughout the year, not getting hurt, and who deals with injuries the best. With next man coming up, some guys playing through them. There's so many things that go into that factor that will decide the outcome for everyone this year and who ends up in the Super Bowl. And it's a big deal, but that's part of this league. And when you have 53-man rosters and only 46 on game day, that stuff is huge. That's why you can never have too much depth. I felt real good about our receivers going into this. We only kept 6. Had to get rid of cut a number of guys who could have helped us, but you can't keep that many. And then you lose a couple here, and very quickly you're down to the last few. And happens same at guards, it's happened at linebackers. It happens a lot, and you just hope you get better luck. But you go into every season, especially the more experience you get, not being surprised when it does happen.
Do you think all 53 should be active on game day?
Yeah, definitely. I think no one will disagree with that.
Is
Or
that just the coach
at least
talking, or is that like with personnel-wise?
I think that's coaches and players and anybody who thinks about it, who just wants it to be easier. Wish we had more than 53.
Did you guys ever pick team captains for the year, or are you just doing it game by game?
No, I plan on picking 3. I want to do it at the midpoint this year. I like picking 3 new ones each week. And I plan on doing that every week throughout the whole year. We'll see if last year I planned on picking 3 at the middle point. But it came, and I didn't think there was 3 obvious ones to go at that time. And so we kept picking 3 different each week. We're starting that way out this year, and we'll see how it goes at the midpoint.
With a rookie like Pettis, how much does a guy benefit from the experience of that first game, looking ahead to the second game, whether it's getting rid of jitters or just probably getting the first team reps he's getting in practice this week?
It's hit or miss, depends on the guy. I think Pettis will benefit a lot from it. I think he's a guy who the game isn't too big for. I think he's very relaxed. He's very confident in being himself all the time. That's why he's okay with his cat celebration. That stuff doesn't bother him. He is who he is, and he goes out to that first game, and I don't think it was too big for him, but I think he did see how quickly things can change. I think McGlinchey did. I think a lot of college guys do. They're used to 100 guys there on the sidelines, and he's going in expecting to get the ball. He was part of the game plan. He knew he was going to get some punt returns, and then very quickly it's like, oh man, I'm running all these routes I saw Keese run all week. Yeah, that's part of it. Don't be surprised. And I think it gives him more confidence going into this game, knowing he managed and got his way through that. Now no matter what you tell him, now he knows what can happen, and I think he'll be more prepared because of it.
He said he's still picking up the offense, which he called super complex. I mean, do you make it easier for him, or do you expect him to rise to the challenge?
No, we try to make it easy as we can for everyone, but we're going to always challenge him too. It's never going to be totally easy. He's got to keep working at it. He's one of the smartest receivers I've been around, so I know he'll be able to get it. But it's not just about how smart you are. It takes time. I think most of our guys can always do it on paper in a meeting room, whatever. But it's quickly when it's loud, when you have when we're late on the play clock, you got 8 seconds to hear it, get out, line up, and just go and not think. And that takes people time, not just rookies, but anybody who's new in a system.
Who will back him up on Sunday?
Pettis?
Yeah.
Well, when you have 5 guys up, that's the problem with receivers. That's why you can't always. That's why you want to keep all 10 guys or 11 or 12 you bring to camp, but you usually only get 5 up on game day. So you have your perfect ideal guys at X, you have your ideal guys at F is what we call it, the slot receiver, and then you got the ideal guys at Z. Well, Trent's our slot receiver. Every time Pettis was out of the game last week, Trent played X, which he hasn't played in a game before. So all of them have to know everything. That's what's so tough about this league, that Richie James is going to be up this week. I'd love to play him at F. Well, he's our backup X also. He's one injury away from being our backup Z. He's going into the game being our backup F, so you have to know everything.
What are the challenges of facing one of Matt Patricia's defenses?
They're coached very well. They have all the fronts and coverages, and they have all the tools they need in a scheme to adjust as the game goes. If you beat them on something, they have a front or a coverage they can call that takes it away. They're able to look at your protection schemes and change and adjust throughout the game. They're able to double people and take them away if they're hurting you. It's something that there's gonna be a weakness in it somewhere, but it's not the same time every play. And you got to see that stuff throughout the game as a coach and adjust, and you have to see that as a quarterback, be able to progress and things like that. And they'll stress our alignment out, not just with blocking the man in front of them, but the different combinations of what they can do with their fronts and the rule changes that they make you go through.
McKinnon being out, how much does that change what you have to do in preparation in terms of when you get blitzed and your quick options off of that?
I mean, with McKinnon being out of effect, I mean, that changes stuff all the time. I mean, it's a matchup league, and everything's about matchups. And so you always look at how your receivers can beat corners and how your tight ends and backs can beat safeties and linebackers. And those are your options. And when you have a tight end or a running back who can beat almost any linebacker and any safety, it takes a lot of pressure off people, you know, and that's how McKinnon was, or that's how he is. The other guys, they can do it, you know, not as consistently as Jarek did. So you have to adjust with that stuff. Who do you put the pressure on? Where do you go? It changes some of your options, and it's just like what I said about defense. You know, if we're hurting them on something, they have the tools to adjust and attack somewhere else. And the more matchup issues you have, the matchup advantages you have on offense, the more we're struggling, the more options we have to go other places. So it limits those things.
All right. Thanks.
You can finish. Go.
With Breida getting just 2 targets, I mean, was that a product of, you said I could finish. Was that a product of you having to make those adjustments to go elsewhere, or were the Vikings knowing that you target your running backs a lot?
No, but who we target the most has a lot to do with how we feel the best matchups are, and that's how it will if everything's even. If everything's even, whoever we target the most is probably who the best matchup was. If they're taking people away and we target someone else, it might be because they knew who the best matchup was. So it's, you know, I'm not going to get in here and say who I like the most and who I don't, but there's reasons for all of that. And anyone who think we can beat the man in front of them very consistently, I promise you they're going to get a lot of opportunities in that game.
Oh, give me a look like I really want to answer this.
No, I mean, it's the biggest setup for anyone in sports. But you know, when a team loses like that and the score's that bad, you know, everyone's going to completely overreact. And if the whole world is, you got to expect that. You're going to go home, you're going to hear it from your wife or your girlfriend, you're going to hear it from you guys, you're going to hear it from everybody, and that's understandable. So you got to make people in the NFL are good. And if you don't play your best, you will get embarrassed no matter who you go against. What made it very easy for me this week is our guys watched the film. And I know what that score was, but you can watch the film, and it wasn't as embarrassing as people think it was. So there was a lot of good things those guys did on defense. We know how talented their offense is. We know what happened in that game with the turnovers. We know they gave up 2 punt returns, 1 for a touchdown, 1 I think inside the 20. And that game was not at all like the score. And I think that made my job a little easier this week because you can't make stuff up, but you can show it to the guys on tape, and I didn't have to sell that. All right, thanks.